What's up everybody, welcome to another episode of the greatest vlog in the world. My name is Jeff, your favorite tour guide in Madeira, and today we are in Câmara de Lobos. We are going to be exploring the town, everything that is Câmara de Lobos. You guys enjoyed our historical vlog we did in Mexico, so we thought we'd do something similar again for you guys. It's a beautiful day, so without any further ado, let's get out of here. This is starting well. You know, when you think you just need a coffee to kickstart the brain, out comes the special stuff. Today we're very excited because we've got Lisa with us over here. Say hi, Lisa. And we're gonna go into some history. So we're going to be exploring the town a little bit, and I'm pretty sure this is going to be a great video. If you guys like the Mexico video, stick around. At the moment, we're in this place, Filhos do Mar. Já vi aqui uma Nikita que gostei muito. Nos dias de festa, até está no vlog. So we've been here before. A great place for some coffee and some drinks in the center of Câmara de Lobos. And yeah, we're going to get ready, and then we're going to go and show you some cool stuff, and we're going to scratch Lisa's brain a little bit so she can tell us all the facts. How does this happen on a Monday? Hey, Monday, we're out at it again. There's the camera. That's why I'm doing this one for the vlog, as usual. People say that, you know, I work so hard and whatever. It's all of that. We gotta do it. It's show business. This is what we do, man. This is what we do. So we're out filming today. For those of you who are interested, we're in Câmara de Lobos. In Filhos do Mar, wasn't it? I think it was called Filhos do Mar in Câmara de Lobos. Kickstarting right behind us, we've got the fishing village of Câmara de Lobos, and the name Câmara de Lobos is actually originated from the monk seal, what we call the Lobo Marinho, and of course the shape of this entrance is like a cove, right? That gives the origin to the name Câmara de Lobos. Do you want to elaborate for us, Lisa? I don't want to steal the show.
Well, it is your show, isn't it? But yes, when the Portuguese initially settled here, or when they initially arrived here, this whole area was full of these seals. It is said that the first settlers, they actually took great pleasure actually slaughtering these animals.
The Portuguese were brutal,
yes,
weren't they?
Yes.
It's just, they were just
I guess they also needed some food and some fat for candles or whatever, but yes, they did take great pleasure slaughtering these animals, and there used to be hundreds and hundreds of them over here. Nowadays, there's very few of these animals left, unfortunately.
Unfortunately, so it's the rarest.
It's the rarest seal in Europe.
In Europe, exactly.
It's a growing population, but this growing population only has about 20 individuals.
Here in Madeira?
Well, actually now they are in Desertas.
In Desertas.
Fortunately, they took shelter over there, but yes, it's been very hard to actually recover this population.
I think I saw online that it was a couple of hundred in like the whole world.
Probably.
In Europe, at least.
I believe there's also some in the Mediterranean area, but yeah, they are very, very endangered.
Right. From what I remember, it's like I'm always on the spot when I'm on video. You gotta be make sure you're doing the right thing. But the oils, I know that they say that the oils they used to use. I didn't know about candles. The oil was almost used like paraffin or something like that, right?
Probably. Yes.
So in the process of candles, but then also I heard something that people also used to think. Of course, we're very superstitious. These kinds of strange beliefs, like almost occult beliefs that are in Madeiran history, that I also read or heard somewhere that people thought that if you could rub the oil on your skin, it would make you younger or stronger or something. Is there some truth to this? Do you know about this? Have you heard about this?
It's the first time I'm hearing about this. But
first time you're hearing about this? Well, we'll have to look it up. I was going to tell Lisa to look it up. Lisa, can you look it up first? Well, we'll have time here somewhere. We can check it out. But yeah, that's a very interesting thing. This is what it is, Câmara de Lobos. And of course, we're very, proud of our monk seal. All right?
Yes, the protected one, as the people from Porto Santo call it.
The protected one.
Protegido, yes.
When you come to Câmara de Lobos, make sure to check out the monk seal street art by Bordalo too. I think it's Antonio Bordalo. Do you remember his first name? He's one of the most famous Portuguese street artists in Portugal. But the guy, his grandfather was an artist, and he became a street artist, and he's well known for doing these kinds of animals. Usually very colorful, but then there's also some contrast in some. He's got one big one in Lisbon, he's got it all over Portugal, and he uses all this trash, he paints everything, and he's, to be said, the second Bordalo in the family because his grandfather was the first. But if you want to check that out, you can check that out in your own time. This is all about you know, the history of Câmara de Lobos, and as we just mentioned, the monk seal is a prominent topic. Arturo. His name's Arturo. I was close. I said Antonio. If it's not Antonio, it's Arturo.
Or Manuel.
Or yeah, or Armando. Or
Francisco.
Francisco. Yeah, or João.
Or José.
Yeah. Anyway, well, it's pretty cool. This is how big Madeira is. And I'm sorry I'm saying Madeira, but this is how big Madeira is, that this is my first time up here and your first time as well. This is the Ilheu of Câmara de Lobos. Is there another name for this?
Not that I know of.
Not that you know of, okay.
Initially,
Also,
this area was actually separated from land. That's why it's called Ilheu. But at some point, there was a rock slide that actually connected this whole area to the rest of Câmara de Lobos. That's why they call it Ilheu.
Right, I thought, yeah. I think I might have missed that one somewhere. But that's interesting, the landslide to create this lower piece over here, right? So we've got a couple of interesting things up here. First of all, there's that, you know, that kind of conflict of research that we found where there was a house up here that was Zarco's house, correct?
Yes.
I mean, at least what we find.
There are some records that say that one of his first houses was here. But although most of the records actually say that his first house was in Funchal in the area of Parque Santa Catarina.
The records that we found of his house up here was 1421.
Yes, when the settlement officially started in 1425.
Which could explain the story of the fires?
The fire is also something that I guess we all learned at school, at least in my generation.
You did?
But
you learned it at school?
We heard about it in school, but it's a story that I don't believe.
That you don't believe? I also don't believe it. But let's get into that quickly. I know it's a little bit off Câmara de Lobos, but it has got to do with the Portuguese records, right? So people say that the island burned for 8 years. Is that what you learned in school?
7 years. I
7
remember
years.
in primary school, we did talk about this. They said that when they initially arrived to Madeira, that the island was completely covered with this forest, with the laurel forest, and they needed a quick way to get rid of a little bit of that forest. And that they set the island on fire for 7 years, and then they left, they came back. I personally don't believe it, otherwise I don't think we would have any forest left on the island. What some people believe is that there was controlled fires for a period of 7 years to clear a little bit of this forest, but not actually a whole fire on the whole island.
Of course, because I mean there's still all the weather happening, right?
Yes.
Still, first of all. And yeah, this is where the story comes in, because I also remember reading a story that the first house that Zarco had actually burned down while they were setting fires, that it got a little bit out of control and burned the house and they had to actually evacuate.
One of the stories that I've also heard from an historian that I guess all Portuguese people know, what was his name? Hermano Saraiva. One of the stories that he says is that the fire got so much out of control that Zarco and his family actually had to go to the sea to be safe from this fire.
Yes, exactly. And I could swear that I remember hearing that his house was burnt down. But this is all these things that we don't know for sure. Of course, we weren't there. So if you guys have any information on this, I say it again, there are guides watching this channel, all right? I know some of you are smarter than me, okay? So if you have some information regarding this topic, share it with us. It's one big happy family. And if you like this kind of content, stick around, like, subscribe. We're gonna bring you more. But yeah, this is a great little place. And if you're coming to Madeira, you can most certainly come up here, have a look around. It's very beautiful. I imagine quite a nice spot for sunsets because there's a nice railing and everything over there, a nice little viewpoint. But please be careful, we are in Câmara de Lobos. We've just come down from the Ilheu, and Lisa has enlightened us on another story as well that has to do with the poorest neighborhood in Europe.
Europe, yes. In the 20th century, in the beginning of the 20th century, they built the first social housing neighborhood up there for the fishermen. And yes, for some time that was indeed the poorest neighborhood in Europe. There was families of about 20-25 people living in one apartment. Not much of an income because they really lived of the sea. And yes, that was indeed the poorest neighborhood for a very long time in Europe.
You mentioned something about there being like some kind of a collective that they looked after the fishermen, like some kind of an old school social security.
There was like a brotherhood. This happened in a few fishing villages, not only here in Câmara de Lobos, but there was a Confraria dos Homens do Mar, the fishermen's brotherhood, and they used to give a percentage of their earnings, and in case of illness, in case of shipwreck, normally these brotherhoods would give them some financial help, for them to be able to get back on their feet.
And that's at the chapel, hey?
Yep.
Well, we're going to go there next. So, this way. Lisa, can you feel the heat?
I can.
It's like my back's on fire.
Yeah.
Honestly though, is it rude to vlog in a chapel?
The problem is an atheist.
You think it's
an
not?
atheist being inside a
An atheist being inside a chapel? You're an atheist?
Yes.
And you don't have a problem saying that on camera?
No.
Okay, well usually we don't talk
have a problem
religion.
being inside it.
This is the beautiful little church of Santa Conceição? No.
Nossa Senhora da Conceição.
Nossa Senhora da Conceição, down in Câmara de Lobos. It's a beautiful little church. I used to show this church off, or chapel should I say, whenever I was in Câmara de Lobos. And of course, I mistook this chapel, so I'm sorry, because I read up this thing that Zarco had his house here, and then when I was reading this book on history of Funchal, there was a part that they mentioned about a chapel that they used to go to every Sunday, I think it was, where they would all unite, like the people, the important people of the island, including João Gonçalves Zarco, so that they could plan the expansion and, how do I say it, povoamento, how do you say that? Population?
The
Settlement, that's the one. The settlement of Madeira. And I always thought that it was this one.
But the clue was in the name of the book, is Funchal, the history
Yes,
of
the
Funchal.
clue is in the name of the book. I was reading the wrong book. But there was a similarity there that I got confused about which chapel. So I never knew for sure until you clarified it more for me.
Yes, well, for the name of your book and for the book that I just read a few minutes ago, it was indeed in Funchal, in the old town, where they actually used to have these weekly meetings to decide what the next steps were.
They say Zarco used to go until his dying days, that people used to carry him in and things like that.
They used to carry him, yes.
So we see some similarities between Funchal and Câmara de Lobos in terms of this fishing village kind of social development, right? Which is pretty cool. So if you're ever in, in Câmara de Lobos, come and check out this chapel, the Nossa Senhora de Conceição. The other chapel is, I've already forgotten the name. I mean, you mentioned it up there, yeah.
The Capella do Corpo Santo, that is the one in Funchal in the old town, where they have where they had the brotherhood as well. But where they used to have the meetings, that place doesn't exist anymore because it was destroyed by a flood in 1803.
Okay, fair enough. Well, there we go. Right, let's get out of here because it's pretty hot, and we'll see where is the next one. Don't go away. This one's going to be good. These are brought here for a reason.
To make me go up these steps?
Not only. First of all, we saw this nice piece of art there, some locals making a boat. Well, actually rebuilding the boat, they were saying. They made it wider. So we didn't want to, of course they're working, we didn't want to give them too much of a hard time. but it seems like very few people are making these boats nowadays like this, right? It's an old traditions that are dying, so to speak, or that we're just evolving, of course, and we'll talk about that later. But first, I wanted to talk about these boats, because these boats are really iconic on the island. And the reason I brought you to the video is so that you could tell us what the name of these boats is.
So you want to put me in trouble? They are called chevelhas.
They're called what, sorry?
Chevelhas.
Chevelhas, okay. Well, chevelha is a fishing boat. We were having this discussion on the way here that we're not 100% sure if the boats are in fact, if they're all that name, or if there's a certain type of boat that looks like that is that name. It's also a bad word for people from the village, correct?
It has become, a sort of...
derogatory term,
it has.
Right?
Yes.
So if you know somebody from Câmara de Lobos, don't call them that. You know, unless you're from Câmara de Lobos and you can call, you know, it's the X word. It's the X word, right? We got a version of that here in Madeira. I've even heard that two people from Câmara de Lobos, if they're fighting, although I'm not sure this is always the case, that if they know they're from Câmara de Lobos, they fight with an open fist. Have you heard the story? Like, yeah, instead of like that, because they from Câmara de Lobos, you know, it's like a brotherhood kind of thing. But anyway, Câmara de Lobos is a little bit well known as like a kind of a rougher place in Madeira. And of course, this comes with all of the social stuff that we were talking about earlier, the poorest, you know, social neighborhood in Europe and things like that. Of course, a lot of that exists in our history. If you look back at history in Madeira, we got a lot of this suffering and hardship. And Câmara de Lobos, of course, had that as well, which gave, you know, very poor lifestyles, conditions of life, poor living conditions is what I was looking for the people of Câmara de Lobos, unfortunately. So yeah, don't stereotype it. But it
has improved quite a lot in these last few decades.
It has improved quite a lot in the last few decades. We're going to get to that as well. But if you are here, then we know Madeira is super safe. This is maybe just a little bit safer than what it used to be, should I say. You know what I mean? Don't be like flashing bling and cameras and stuff.
Yeah.
Today, I brought the beanie so I could look a little bit more intimidating, you know, because we're walking around with an expensive camera. Great prices. Sun's salsicha, it's a hot dog.
Madeiran hot dog.
It's a Câmara de Lobos hot dog.
I have an existential question.
Yes.
Is a hot dog a sandwich?
Is a hot dog a sandwich? Yes, of course it is. Just like Francine is. It's got bread and meat, it's a sandwich. Well, it looks like a pretty cool place. So we're going to give the taste test, right? The snacks are cheap. Definitely the seafood is a little bit more, but I'm quite curious. And of course, having this kind of view, I'm quite sure that this place is pretty awesome, especially at sunset. I don't know how busy it gets. I've never been in here. It's the first time. So yeah, we're gonna get some breezes, we're gonna get some food. And this, of course, is a place called Churchill's place, because Winston Churchill used to come to Madeira. He came here once.
He only came to Madeira once.
He only came to Madeira once?
Not even a week, I think.
It was a week,
It was about
not even a week.
I think it was about a week. I think he was scheduled to stay about 2 weeks, but then there was election sooner than expected in England, so he had to go earlier than expected because of those elections. But this is the place that he came to paint Câmara de Lobos.
You told me a cool story about how he used to bring sweets.
Yeah, he used to bring candies in his pockets to give to the kids that were on the beach.
You guys commented that you loved the video, so we're bringing more of that. We want to bring more of what you guys want to see. So comment on what you like, what you don't like, make a joke. You correct me, I don't care, all right? I got thick skin already from this YouTube thing, you know? Like, I've seen all sorts of comments out there, so it's not, doesn't scare me anymore, right? I'm in Câmara de Lobos, okay? I'm not scared. We're gonna enjoy some food and a little break in the shade, at least for you. Maybe after this we'll just jump out, and then we're going to end off with a very important question, which is, what is the future of Câmara de Lobos? One of my favorite seafood dishes, choco frito, not something you find everywhere. Cuttlefish, fried cuttlefish, love it. It's approved. Right, next one, prawns. Wow, lots of juice. Nowadays it's a mission with my braces. Eating anything is a mission. Very good, it's approved. Don't look at my teeth. Don't look at my teeth. If you want to know more about these kinds of places, then check out our Patreon account, all right? If you're coming to Madeira and you want help planning your trip, there are some great resources on the Patreon account. My favorite 35 restaurants. I try to make it small to be helpful, you know? And it was supposed to be like 20 restaurants, but then I couldn't fit, you know, only 20. So we made 35. You can get that all on Patreon, and as well as a chance to win a vacation in Madeira in 2025. Accommodation and tours included, no flights, on us for only €4.50 to enter the draw. Remember, we're not a casino, all right? This is just purely to support our channel so we can bring you more of this kind of content. So yeah, check out our Patreon account now. Lots of great goodies over there. We're gonna enjoy our food and move along. So the guys from Churchill's gave us a little digestive. Thank you very much. We really enjoyed our time here. I will be back here to eat, you know, I think with my wife one day. She always, whenever she watches the vlogs, baby, I'm sorry, okay? You know, you can't always be around the Camara. I think we want to start something new. Andrea just had a great idea of us saying thank you to the Patreon members that have joined within the week or the month. So this won't take long. But I want to say thank you to Desiree, Anne and Rebecca, Kyle, Nico or Nicola, Anne, I think, Anne Coro 22, Nancy Souza, Mike Hoffman, and Christian Bocconi, as well as CJ. These guys have all joined up on our Patreon account for the last month or so. And there is one person here who's getting a video call with me actually tomorrow. So remember, if you want to pick my brain, you know, then you can check out our Patreon account. There's going to be loads of stuff there. To you guys, all our Patreon members and viewers, thank you for the support. Cheers. And to you guys. Yeah? Cheers. Thank you.
Cheers.
It's making my teeth feel a little bit better, actually. It's becoming more and more difficult. No, I'm keeping those on. Becoming more and more difficult these days to not speak about what's going on in the island. And of course, with this new social media and way we're connecting and communicating with each other, all of the kind of problems and difficulties are coming up to the surface. And when we think of the future, you know, there's a lot of doubt, and also a lot of doubt, understandably, with the locals about, you know, all the construction that's coming in and all the new development that's coming in, all the changes that we are having in Madeira. And here I've got a couple of things that I do want to actually put out there. And one is from the local perspective, which is, you know, people who are coming here, people who are coming to move here, coming to work here, coming to invest here. These people are not evil, right? This is, you know, capitalism. This happens everywhere in the whole world. And it's not their fault that they are, that maybe fell in love with this place, see an opportunity. That's number one. It's not their fault. So I think us as locals, we also have to educate and help and make sure that locals don't see the other side of it, the evil, you know, kind of dark side of it. Then the second thing as well is those people coming over. People coming over have to, and of course this is me pleading, all right, but I would like to see people who come over to create opportunities. You know, so many people want to be investing in Madeira, investing in property, investing in land and in all sorts of things. But what I think people should also be looking to invest, and I know it's not easy, but this is an idea I've been having, is that people should invest in people as well. I think that a lot of Madeirans and a lot of people that live in this small place that's very isolated, yes, we have the internet, but still a lot of old school thinking, old mentality, you know, of course has to do with education, us being isolated. So a lot of people don't know how to be entrepreneurs, how to be good salespeople, how to work in certain areas and how to develop industry. So for those of you who are coming out, who are watching this channel from the United States, Canada, America, United States, Canada and America, the UK, Europe, wherever you're from, you know, try and connect with the locals, try and get to know them, try and start relationships, trying to see where you can bring your expertise. We've already had some at Hit the Road, which is amazing. I've still got a good friend of mine who I met up in town, Troy, who actually volunteered to work with us and to help. And I will be getting to you, Troy, because right now I'm bringing in so many people onto the team that it's still kind of like, well, what is everyone doing? I'm still trying to get hold of my stuff before that comes out. But enough about that. The future of Câmara de Lobos, we have to be mindful, all right? We have to make sure that what we're doing is sustainable. And also what I like is that we have to be modern, right? There's the two sides of the coin. We want to keep the old traditions, but we also want to innovate and bring new things and make Madeira modern as well, all right? Yes, and people are gonna hate me for saying this, you know, with the boxed houses and all the new apartments and all this kind of thing. But for a lot of people, when you're living in there and you're looking in there and you're looking out at this view every day, a lot of us, we take it for granted. You know, I'm living in the most beautiful place. I don't take it for granted, but a lot of people are coming over, they're coming from much worse places. So personally, I think Madeira is developing quite well. Of course, there are, you know, issues. But I think that the development of Madeira is something beautiful. I don't think it's anything new, but I like to see more of the modern stuff down in the town of Câmara de Lobos. You know, we've got these new restaurants, this new kind of flair. We've gone down there before to some other places before, and there's some real flair there, new stuff, cocktails and all this kind of stuff that's coming to Câmara de Lobos and Madeira. So I hope you guys got something out of that rant. Right, this is maybe ideas for another video. I don't want to generate too much confusion, so don't go into the comments and be hating on people, right? Please, if you have something you know, productive to tell us, then let us know in the comments. And I think that's about it. Andre,
Let's hit the road.
Let's hit the road. We've made it, eh?
We've made it.
Poor Andre is feeling quite rough. He's been overworked and underpaid.
I'm sick.
Maybe not underpaid though.
Not underpaid.
You're doing pretty
sick.
well.
Yeah.
Just one of the locals is
just sick and tired. That's it.
Sick and tired.
Sick and tired.
I'm also a little
sick
bit
and tired, not in the sense that I'm sick and tired of this stuff.
Yeah.
Is that I'm sick, comma, tired.
Tired. Yeah. Well, you've had your one poncha today. That should be it. We're gonna hit the road now and get you back home so you can rest. And I've got a day off tomorrow in front of the computer. I've got a Patreon call, but my own time to do my own things, because it's never really a day off with Jeff, right? Thank you, Lisa. We couldn't have done this without you. And that's it, I think.
Fist bump.
Fist bump, yeah, fist bump. Epic fist bump.